Have you ever noticed how powerful our words can be? Our tongue, though small, can be sharper than the sharpest sword in the world. Words may not wound people physically, but they can deeply hurt us emotionally, sometimes leaving scars that last a lifetime. On the other hand, words can also be uplifting. They can bring joy, hope, wisdom, and inspiration. That means words are both a source of strength and a potential weakness, depending on how and when we use them. But here is the paradox: sometimes it's not words, but silence, that carries the most powerful message. So friends, today I'll share with you a story about the importance of silence, and how it has the power to change your life in ways you never imagined. The monk and the restless king. Once upon a time in India, there lived a famous Buddhist monk. He had left behind the noisy world and chosen to live deep inside a peaceful forest monastery. His reputation spread far and wide because of his wisdom and deep meditation practice. One day, a powerful king came to him. The king said, "Respected monk, even though I have everything, wealth, fame, comforts, and luxuries, my mind is always restless. I feel tired, frustrated, and disturbed. Please tell me how I can find peace within myself." The monk smiled gently and replied, "The answer already lies within you, but you have never searched for it. Let me guide you through an experiment. If you agree, all your restlessness and worries will vanish." The king was desperate. He said, "I am ready to do anything for peace of mind." The monk then explained the rule of the experiment. "For the next 15 days, you will stay in my monastery. You will live a simple life, like an ordinary person. Most importantly, stay alone in silence and speak as little as possible." The king agreed. The struggle of silence. On the very first day, the king found it extremely hard. His mind became more restless. Thoughts, questions, and endless worries rushed in like never before. He wanted to talk, to share, to Audiio. But he remembered the monk's words, so he stayed silent. As the hours passed and night arrived, something unexpected happened. He began feeling a strange sense of peace. The restlessness started melting away. The next morning, instead of talking, the king spent his hours in observation. He looked at the plants, the flowers, the flowing breeze, and the birds flying above. For the very first time in his life, he saw beauty that had always been around him but ignored. His heart softened with gratitude. Days passed, one after another. By the 10th day, something extraordinary happened. The constant chaos within his mind completely disappeared. On the 12th day, without forcing himself, he naturally entered into deep meditation. His eyes closed on their own, and his mind slipped into a state of stillness. He experienced a joy he had never felt before. By the 15th day, he was transformed. He returned to the monk with newfound understanding. The king bowed before the monk and said, "Now I understand the cause of my unhappiness. I used to talk excessively and think negatively. I wasted my energy in meaningless conversations that disturbed my mind. Because of this, I failed in my actions, became frustrated, and eventually felt miserable. But these 15 days of silence changed me completely. I discovered that true meditation cannot be forced. It happens naturally when the mind is quiet. I feel alive for the first time in my life." The monk nodded and said, "You have learned the greatest lesson. Silence is the first step to self-discovery. Without silence, it is impossible to know yourself. And most of what people say is unnecessary. If everyone spoke less, more than half of the world's problems would disappear." This story tells us about the power of silence in our lives. This teaching is not only for a king of the past. Even today, words cause conflicts, insults, anger, and sorrow. But silence heals. When we remain quiet, we reduce arguments. With silence comes patience and awareness. By embracing silence, we invite peace to flow within us. Think about it, people who speak too much often lose focus, waste time, and fail to truly concentrate on a single task. They end up being mocked or ignored. On the other hand, people who speak less but with wisdom gain respect, because their words hold value. Great leaders, saints, and wise individuals throughout history have carefully chosen their words. They knew when to speak and when not to. That's true intelligence. When you practice silence, you start noticing the small joys of life. You gain strength to resist societal pressure. You feel at peace even in a noisy crowd. Your presence shines with calmness. Your words become like music, gentle, inspiring, and deeply moving. So how can you apply this in your life? Every day, set aside at least 20 minutes to be alone in complete silence. Close your eyes, sit quietly, and let your thoughts settle down. With time, you will feel a deep sense of freshness and calmness rise within you. Remember, all peace and happiness come from inside you, not from outside. You are the master of your own inner world. Friends, silence is not emptiness. Silence is the space where your soul heals, where your true power awakens. It is in silence that you encounter the deepest truths of life. So, the next time you feel restless or overwhelmed, instead of talking endlessly, pause. Breathe. Stay silent. Let your silence speak louder than words. If this story and message inspired you, support us by liking or sharing it with your friends, and commenting below about what Zen wisdom you'd like to hear next. And of course, subscribe and ring the notification bell for more stories of peace, wisdom, and transformation. Thank you for walking on this path of inner peace with us.